Alright, a wonderful good day everybody, and welcome back to my channel. God's Shadow here, and today, as promised, I'm bringing you Pioneer, a format that is, and I'm going to be honest here, with my limited experience up until now, absolutely obnoxious. I played 4 leagues, 20 games, of which I played 16, and I'm not lying here, 16 against green ramp decks. Basically every one of your opponents is green ramp in one fashion or the other. Most of them are trying to facilitate Field of the Dead as their main win condition. Some are playing like Nexus of Fate, but yeah, it's horrible. Nonetheless, we're gonna play a couple of games here today, and yeah, so I played the 4 leagues with 4 different decks. I played Sultan, Abzan, Blue White, and Grixis. I'm not sure if I also played Blue Moon. Don't think so. I just started building here. Yeah, that's not a deck. Alright, the mana base. Mostly we're using One Ring Funeral here, one of the half cycle of manlands that Pioneer does have to offer. So that is definitely an upside of going Grixis over other colors, like Blue White Control, etc. don't have any manlands as their win condition and have to rely on Planeswalkers, which yeah, is another main facet of the format. So lands and Planeswalkers are basically the defining factors. Therefore, we're going with Dreadbores here in the main board to at least get rid of a couple of Planeswalkers, and then Sweltering Suns might be a little bit too many here with 4, especially with what I just said. But I'm hoping to get rid of any Planeswalkers with Thoughtseizes and Drowning Loss beforehand. But this could also be like, I don't know, Murderous Rider or something similar. Then in the sideboard we can go full control with 4 Ionize. I actually maybe we want to go with 2 in the main here and only 2 Sweltering Suns. Maybe 4 is just too many. Nah, we'll go with the full split here. And then another way of getting rid of Planeswalkers is Glorybringer, which I think is very good positioned in the format. We have Languish against stuff like Boggles, etc. Ionize to go control while it's also dealing a little bit of damage in between, so that way you can actually finish our opponent. Our main win conditions are definitely Nicobolas, Keranos, and then One Ring Funeral, so we're trying to keep the board as clean as possible, especially also from Field of the Dead tokens, and then take over with like Keranos or whatever once they are running out of gas. There would be other options, of course, like the Scarab God, etc., but those are just cheap replicas of the original OG here. Yeah, Chase, of course, also functions as a possible win condition, but most of the time it just isn't. Opt is very weak in the format. Most opponents are just, yeah, like churning out threat after threat. So we'll see if we actually can play the Opt, or if we have to go with something more or something bigger. It's also possible that we want to cut like 2 Opts and 2 Fatal Pushes, because there are also not too many Fatal Push targets, which is weird, but that's the case. And then we might just up the dribble count or whatever on the 2 mana slot. But that's enough of the talking. Let's join a league here. Yeah, 4-1 with Abzan, which was also like the first 4 games were all against green ramp. Wasn't fun to play. There's stuff like Ashiok, of course, as a sideboard option, but there's not too much fetching going on. Fabled Passage is, I mean, yeah, it's alright, but it's also not super great. Yeah, I'm gonna keep because of the turn 2 Jace. And then we still have like drones and Thought Seizes once we get to the higher instances. We're playing 24 lands, which is 1 land more than we currently play in Modern. Well, are we playing the mirror here? If we were to be playing the mirror, no, as per control or as per something. Ooh. So we do have Kolaghan's Command to get back, well, like we're even playing 4, so maybe getting rid of one of the high mana spells here isn't too relevant, but I'm still getting rid of the Thoughtseize, because even if we're drawing a Black Source, like, it will take a little bit of time to get all of this stuff out. Our opponent hasn't done anything yet. Oh my god. Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna keep the Dreadbore. I think I'm just gonna get rid of the other Thoughtseize here. Alright, so we started the game with 2 lands in our hands. Already had 4 draws. Now our opponent also doesn't find another land here. Angel of Serenity. Oh my goodness. Yeah, alright, cool. And this is already pretty fucked up again. At least our Jace flips now. Our opponent's playing 4 color. I mean, sure. Trino. Yeah, great. So now I'm gonna get rid of the Jace. Play that. I kill that Rhino. So it looks like something like could be gifts. Definitely something going on here. And yeah, although we're playing against a mid-range deck by hard here, so I mean we can counter basically anything. Since we don't know what's going on, like what happens if this comes on? Enter the battlefield and may exile up to 3 other target creatures from that. Okay, to the owner's hands though. There's definitely something that he wants to get in here. Yeah, I've decided that we're gonna wait. Seems to be a lot of, but we've already seen a couple of mid-range cards. Like if it's just a mid-range decks with Angel of Serenity as a top end, which is crazy, then I think it's alright to play the Nicol Bolas here. Also because even if he's playing Angel of Serenity, we can still get rid of it next turn. What we could have also done, of course, is just play Thoughtseize and Flashback Sweltering Sun, but that's still play for next turn. Like if he only has 2 card types in his graveyard, so if he's like playing another Grimflayer or Sylvan Caryatid or whatever, that's still a good play. That's not good if he discards this card, because that he can definitely play next turn. And he could just 2 for 1 us. Reasonable card, by the way, probably to be played in this format. Yeah, if we had a different start here, or like just found a Black Source earlier, I think we would be in a pretty good position here. Well, alright. Sure. You got it. Yeah, but this was actually to be expected. So I'm gonna have a look at his hand first. Grizzly Salvage, not really. Okay. Okay, we definitely have to stop this. Also because it's like, I don't know, cheap. We could also get rid of Sea Shrine, of course. Yeah, probably do that. Then our Jace dies, but then afterwards we can get rid of the noxious Gearhulk. Or is there just a better play here? Because we're taking 5, even if I leave a mana for Drown. We do have Dreadborn next turn. That would be 2. So Blooming Marsh, Salvage, Wayfinder, and Tomb. Yeah, so you could only take the Wayfinder, which in turn got the Blooming Marsh, and that's that. So I'm not expecting him to also have counter magic here, probably just for creatures splashing blue here. And therefore, alright, some Caryatid is actually pretty annoying here. It could also be Soul Flare, of course, some sort of Soul Flare surprise build here. Do we want to actually block with the Funeral? Oh. Alright. So I'm gonna actually, I mean, yeah, I think we're gonna go with Nicol Bolas here instead of Keranos, because next turn we can flip him and then we can get back like an Angel of Serenity. Yeah, that's pretty good. We can, right? That's, yeah. Just making sure I'm remembering here. There's so many Keranoses that it's sometimes not so easy to remember the correct one. Alright, we need a brick here by our opponent, and then we can go with like Angel of Serenity, which would be pretty cool. Doesn't look like a brick. Does not look. Hard cast Angel of Serenity. Yeah. Yeah, that was the top deck of Death Dealer. Probably any other card. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So of course we could get back DC. Battlefield or attacks. Huh. No. But Ishgana might be good, right? This is an enchantment. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good. Because then we can actually block this for a bit. Without having to, you know, actually kill stuff. Grim Flare. Alright. Our opponent also only has like 20 more cards in his deck. Yeah, let's see if we have a couple of turns here, and we might be able to actually put ourselves into a position where we can actively fight back here. Yeah, I think we can also attack. Shouldn't be too bad. Also, Ishgana, I mean, we can also let her die and then just get her back with Nicol Bolas, so that's also a thing, and we can just cycle around. It was definitely a mistake by our opponent to leave our Nicol Bolas on the battlefield here, because we tick up for 2. And now I'm trying to next turn then. We were gonna kill all of those. This turn I'm already going to go and block with Ishkana so that I can return her next turn. Do I want to cycle here and then flash it back with Jace? Or no, I think we're using Jace as an alternate win condition here. Actually makes more sense. Yeah. Draw me a card. Alright, yeah. Cool. That was kind of unexpected, but pretty good. So Sweltering Suns, still alright. But probably also need something bigger and better. So Fatal Pushes, I think, are pretty bad, since there is almost, well, there's Siege Rhino, maybe, potentially, but not a whole lot else. We also can't really negate a whole lot, so I think we're gonna go with 2 Languishes here. Cut a Sweltering Sun. Maybe cut another Sweltering Sun. Because our opponent seems to rely on very specific cards, and since we, of course, as we always, don't play Graveyard Hate, why would it change in a format with even less potent Graveyard Hate for Grixis? No Jailers for me means no Graveyard Hate whatsoever. Cool. Nope, I don't think no, we can keep this. Nope. Sure. So Keranos goes. Although I like having Nicol bonus, I think Nicol has to go as well. Alright, Sweltering Sun might become potent at some point. I'm gonna go after the Grimflay here. On the one side to activate our Drown Loss soon, on the other side to not, like, he might be missing ways to fill the graveyard, and that way it's a DC. Alright, so now a red source would be great. Well, this is alright, I guess. So this only triggers when it comes from the graveyard, right? Yeah. So we're just gonna discard something. Solid here. Sure. Kill that. And again, just trying to find a red source. So go Fabled Passage. Actually a pretty cool card. Well, for the time being, we're just taking 2 a turn. Could of course go with Round Loch, but that also doesn't seem too appealing. I actually might have to do that, though. He's just passing turns here, and I guess. So Ionize, of course, becomes way worse with food tokens on the battlefield, but nonetheless, I do like Ionize as a counterspell. Gilded Goose, I'm actually not sure if that's the best mana dork in the format that you can possibly have. I think there might actually be a better one in Honored Iraq. He's playing so many angels, man. Alright, so now that's alright. Alright, our opponent's flooding out a little, which is good. On the other hand, though, that's only good if we can actually utilize it by drawing a couple of our potent cards here. I'm also going to get rid of that Goose. Just so that the food tokens do not keep on coming here. Normally I would always let it live, but this is already 6 life, and every life means that there's just less. Or more cards that Karanos needs to draw. Oh no. Alright, so DC again, which is annoying, especially because just then I discarded the so no matter what I do here, I'm forcing him anyway to go on to Jace with both of them. He's just cracking for life, which makes sense. Oh, that also triggers when it attacks, right? Yeah, that's not too bad, the thing. Okay. Last minute save here. I'm gonna look for a Jace here or a Drown Loch. Never mind. Alright, he's taking a little bit of his life total. So now it's 14. And we're dealing 7 a turn, which is pretty good. Or we're just drawing additional cards, which is also fine. So if he bricks here, he's just dead. Goose will actually keep him alive a couple of turns due to the food token. But we do have a counterspell, so I'm feeling pretty good about things here right now. Although our opponent, of course, knows a lot of Drown here, so should be GG's. Alright, cool. That was round 1. See you back in round number 2. Alright, welcome back here to round number 2, everybody. So let's have a quick look at my upside list that I played today. So I was trying Honored Hierarch because the format is in general a turn slower than Modern, and therefore and has just very few removal spells. Therefore, most of the time you just get in with the Noble Hierarch, Honored Hierarch here. Then have the 2/2 with Vigilance. With it, you put your opponent under pressure, and you also do have the ramp effect on turn 3 going forward. Alright, so we have the typical start here with Thoughtseize into Jace, and we're playing against a rock deck here apparently. So we're taking the Thoughtseize to protect our Jace. It will take a little bit of time for our opponent to get going. And we can get rid of the Tireless Tracker with our Kolaghan's command. He just isn't allowed to draw any removal spells here. And we also need more lands. Good. So even a removal spell here, I mean, it wouldn't be great for us, of course. Still. And we also have to think about how to get rid of that Kalitas in a set, because we probably won't be able to flip our Jace in time. Alright. Also do have a solution for that. And I'm gonna see here, it's possible that I'm just gonna ditch the Nicol Bolas, because I think I need, so that those are all the stuff that we know about. Next turn is definitely gonna come a Kalitas, I would assume. Alright, never mind. He might, of course, hold additional copies of Kalitas, but if it's going to be a Tireless Tracker, then we can deal with it. If it's going to be a Kalitas, we could also deal with it just a turn later. I'm countering here because I don't want him to have the additional trigger here, and we're actually playing against an Upsun list, and although I wasn't playing with Tireless Trackers, it's probably good enough to be played even without fetch lands. Alright. So I probably want to go with the Nicol Bolas here and ditch, like, I don't want to ditch the Wandering Fumarole because that's still better than his man lands, and it might come down to that, especially if he has removal. So yeah, I'm just gonna ditch the Dread Warrior, go with Nicol Bolas. Now we have 2 potent threats on the battlefield that he has to deal with. Has a couple of excellent lands here. Now it's going to be interesting on whether or not he does have another Kalitas in hand. Sea Trino, alright. Sweltering Sun. Certainly not great here. I'm not sure if I want to go with the drone. I think I'm going to go with the drone instead of the Dreadbore to kill the Sea Trino. And then he could be activating, like he missed the land drop there, could be activating the Hissing Quagmire, of course. Or just go with another Kalitas. So Jace doesn't trigger the Kalitas when it dies as a Planeswalker. Yeah, this is actually better, of course. But I already thought that he would have kept another Kalitas in hand here. Not a card that you discard against an opponent that might not have enough removal spells to deal with it. Yeah, but we're doing a pretty good job here in keeping our opponent off balance. Although Sea Trino, of course, is a very, very strong card against us. Actually, I have to. We'll probably bring in the two other Dreadbores here. Sweltering Sun doesn't seem to be very good. Yep. And I'm fine with both lands and or. And or non-lands. Because I think if we can flip the Nicol Bolas Brain Maggot. That's a little annoying. I think I'm gonna put that on top to flip the Bolas, and then I'm just gonna make him discard and return the Jace. That's of course gonna get eaten here by the Brain Maggot, but it's still 2 for 1, so. Well, Cast Down, of course, somewhat sad that all of our creatures are legendary. And I mean all of our creatures, like even Garanos is legendary, although of course that doesn't really apply. Alright, so I think we're getting something really big here. Goodness. Sea Trino might just be the best thing. Puts him down to 4, and then next turn we have 2 sources that just deal 4 damage. Ooh, Ravenous Chupacabra. Alright. Alright, let's draw 2 cards first. Cannot really play around. Well, that's good enough, right? Yeah, we have 4 afterwards as well. No, very cool. Very, very cool. So, Sweltering Sun. Don't want to get rid of all of them because apparently he's still playing Ravenous Chupacabra and all that jazz. So Fatal Push is also not too bad. I guess he's playing Grimslayer as well. Maybe just 2 Languishes here. The rest should be good, right? Like, if we're just playing 1 for 1. I have a couple of big 2 for 1s coming. So our opponent begins the game with 7 cards in hand. I think we're gonna keep, just because our opponent's probably playing 4 Thoughtseizes. Here's the first. And yeah, our hand is pretty redundant, so don't really care what they're gonna take. Thoughtseize, interesting. So obviously we're just trying, or for the most part, trying to probably naming Jace, right? Could also be going for Nicobolas. And that's interesting because it's an artifact, and he must have something to deal with Okologan's command. I guess. So we're just gonna go with the Jace here, and then are we? Because next turn we can't flip the Jace. No, I think we're just gonna keep the Fatal Push up here and alt. Yeah, this is what I thought. Like, he had to have a way of getting rid of that Polygon's command, and now I'm happy with the decision that I made here, because now we can kill both of them anyway. Alright, so our opponent apparently also is short on lands. Does this make sense? If we can... Yeah, probably still makes sense, because now we're going Kolaghan's command. Actually, this makes things... I don't know. Next turn we have more than enough options to go with either Fatal Push and Jace or Jace and Thoughtseize. Yeah. Basically has to take the Fatal Push here. Which is alright with me, because as long as we can take a removal spell out of his hands, he does have one. Alright, another Pithing Needle, Hero's Downfall, and Kalitas. Well, the Pithing Needle, again, isn't really worth anything. He's probably going to go Needle and Throbbing Inspector. So I'm just going to take the Kalitas here. Because killing my Jace doesn't really make a difference. He's also not going to go for that. So we can just go Kolaghan's command. That was weird. Now we can't play the Thrum Inspector anymore. That can't have been correct. Yeah. That was not your brightest moment, friend. Alright, and now we're firmly pulling ahead here. We're destroying and killing. Then we're flipping. Get rid of that one. And despite the fact that we probably can't, like, he does have Hero's Downfall, of course, to kill our Jace with. Actually, might have just, yeah, that was a mistake. Should have just discarded the Fatal Push. Never mind. Every decision I make is absolutely correct. Yep. We're just killing it to be mana efficient here, and now we're just playing the Keranos, which just can't get rid of in any world. I'm just gonna play this and play the Keranos, and here I'm not yet gonna go and flip the Jace. I just want to maintain the ability to evade a removal spell, and since he's so choked on mana, I might be able to actually slow him down additionally here, which I don't mind. So I'm taking the trade-off if he offers it. Okay, rest of these sucks. Another Keranos. Alright. Probably don't need a second one, so still better than a swap. Yeah, we're just bombing our way through here. Might also be able to actually get our Keranos going. Only missing like 2 color mana sources, which well, actually no, there's no way in our deck that we activate all Keranos. Yeah, I just like it a lot here. Oh, what is this? I see Trino. Oh my goodness. Alright, so if we're hitting anything on the top, our opponent just is dead instantaneously. Alright, you're dead. So there's also no 1 mana removal spell, yeah. Alright, 2-0-2-0. Very good. See you in round number 3. Alright everyone, welcome back to round number 3. This is really an atypical list. Both of our opponents were in green, but weren't playing ramp. Well, actually the first opponent was playing ramp, but not in the Field of Ruin kind of sense. So, well, I think we're keeping this, despite being pretty slow, but well... And now we're playing against more red. Shit. Yeah, that's bad. Sweltering Sun here, maybe we get there. Sweltering Sun here is probably pretty strong. Just depends on whether or not we survive the next turn, but this is only 3 damage. And if he adds more to the board, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with a Thoughtseize here for him to then be incentivized. I think alright, so the Serpent should definitely die, but if I'm not taking it here, I'm saying I basically have a removal spell, right? I'm taking the Wall Slash. Might be a mistake, because I also can't kill it, the Serpent with the K command, and it has protection from our other, but failed push should still be fine. Alright. Okay. That's alright because he traded 3 for 3 and he only had like good cards in hand. So I am okay with that. The Scrappy Trounder here is very annoying. Indeed. And we also, like, for this matchup we really don't have good cards, like in general. Was hoping to avoid something like this. We don't play Kalitas right now because I just wasn't seeing any of these decks actually that we played against in the last 4 leagues. Oh. So we're down to 10. Nicol Bolas here, probably the correct choice. Because the last card in his hand might be something relevant. Now he can't attack anymore into us. Let's see, it's gonna be a rough one. Alright, so this is just gonna be him. Could of course also go with Embereth. Alright, does have first strike, yeah. And this Scrounger is also gonna be... Oh, that's actually bad. So I think we want to go with the Jace here to then go Sweltering Sun next turn. We also have 7 mana to flip the Bolas. So we're blocking the Squander here. Are we? Actually, I think we have to. Sure. We're taking 4. Going down to 3, and then our Jace can still get. Okay. Good. So we're playing the Keranos, blocking the Goblin here with the Jace, and we are also able to not only flip the Jace but also Fate Push the Goblin afterwards, if nothing worse happens, like a Chandra. Okay. Still fine because our opponent didn't think this through. So Sweltering Sun goes, this one goes there. So no matter what happens, we also have enough mana for Kolaghan's command, so I think instead of going with the 3-2 the Chandra here, I'm gonna go this one, return and deal 2 damage. And then we're playing the Ravager. And now we do have a good clock. Our opponent can of course recur here the Scrounger, but that's not too relevant. It should also still be good for a couple of lands. So what does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? What does Flipping Bolas give us here? Could go with, I don't know, that creature's controller. So I guess Golden Chain Whirler is still basically the best we can do while also attacking here. And I think, like, our opponent could of course win next turn, but I think it should be difficult. Because if we get the Golden Chain Whirler, we're blocking off the Scrounger, and then you would need a Wild Slash or Unlicensed Disintegration. In order to then get the Scrounger and be able to activate the Castle Embereth here. And then next turn we would also have. Oh yeah, sure. That was actually a big mistake. That's when you're new to Pioneer. I'm actually not used to this card. And we haven't lost yet, but now it's of course not looking good anymore. That was pretty bad. I should have just kept the Drownloch. Oh. Now we're dead to almost anything, which of course sucks. Well, we're not dead yet. Alright, so the Sweltering Suns. Oh my god. He still has a lot of creatures, of course, in his graveyard, so that doesn't really make a sense. And that doesn't make sense. If need be, I might be cycling the Sweltering Suns here. But he could have also just had lethal here. Probably does. In one way or the other. No. Well, that's lucky for us. Alright, we need some sort of instant interaction here. We can also put a Planeswalker. Alright. At least something, I guess. So one Refume roll, which should have been in play since the last turn, like, definitely also didn't play that very well. Yeah, it feels like now we're dead. I was just one too many mistakes there. I mean, he would have to play something that either doesn't deal damage to us or does not have instant speed here, like haste. I guess. Okay. Maybe not. Now I'm actually willing to get the Chandra to just deal a little bit of additional damage here, right? I mean, he's dead next turn anyway, so... we draw 2 cards. And again, he must have not have anything. Not land. Well, that is unlucky by now. We have 2 blockers though, so I'm just gonna stay back. Next turn we have lethal. Maybe we will survive another turn here, with just our opponent having like a creature or whatever. Or maybe Smuggler Sculpture. I mean, there should be enough odds for our opponent to also not draw anything that deals damage, actual damage. Yeah, something. It would have been dead, friend. It would have been dead, but I misplayed that. Yeah, triple dead. All right, that one's coming in. I want to have all of these. Sweltering Sun, of course, isn't really bad. And then Collective Brutality. Overdrip. Well, there's also a couple of Planeswalkers. Keranos, good, but not super great. So yeah, I think we're going with this. Actually, Sweltering Sun might be more important than some of this. Yep. Stonecoil Serpent. Well, we can also actually kill that with a drown. But that's probably not necessary. No, we can. It does have protection from multicolor. Heart of Kieran. Alright, well, that we can definitely get rid of. And it also does have crew 3, so that doesn't really make a difference. Also does have reach though, that's pretty strong. Could have also countered the Thoughtseize, of course, but that's alright. Might have to take the Sweltering Sun and then leaves us with Nico Bolos. Although I can't imagine that being the case. Alright, so let's see. Sweltering Sun's still good. Like, we could take 4 damage here, I think. Have a counter spell for something. But we can also do that next turn. Here, of course, Kalitas would just be really, really good. So, sideboard wise, Kalitas is definitely going to come in back in. I'm gonna block here because if it's a Chain Whirler common, then I'm gonna counter that anyway. So I think I'm actually going to discard the Collective Brutality here, because that lets me keep open the Drone Loch. And then next turn we can go Kolaghan's Command, get back like Nicol Bolas. And then we're on the right track here. Chandra. His last card is either another Chandra or something pretty strong. Glory Bringer or something. Yep, wow, that's also pretty good. Hazoret. Alright, so if he does have another Hazoret in hand, then we really have a problem. Alright, just Chandra. That's alright. That is alright. Because Hazoret is definitely the more problematic permanent here. Yeah. Still returning and killing this thing. Despite the fact that does anything change? We have a lot of removal, we do have a lot of counter magic, we do have Jace and Nicol Bolas to just keep churning. There might be a reason to also play Glorybringer. Yeah, I'm actually quite fond of that one. I think I'm gonna go with Sweltering Sun here and then 2 Glorybringers top end just to have something on the board and then be able to attack into like battlefield presence. It's not a perfect hand, but our opponent mulligans and probably has to rely on a lot of creatures, so any land is good. If we draw black land, then we also do have a turn 2 play, which I think is fine. Uno. Come on, friend, give me any land. Anything. Alright. So I hope that our opponent's gonna not play a land, at least this on one turn so that I can tap out for Sweltering Sun. Alright, Chain Whirler is okay. Now we're only looking for black mana. And for one to not go with Chandra this turn. Or another Planeswalker. Yeah, I think. So we could Brutality here, or we could just go with Nicol Bolas. But if he does have a Chandra in hand, then our Bolas dies. We take at least 6. Go down to 8, then 2 damage from Chandra, we're down to 6, plus 3, go down to 3. But we don't really have other good options. Like, we could also go with the good thing is if he wants to kill our Bolas, then he has to activate the castle here, which is actually pretty strong. And that means that our Bolas dies, Gravity Scroungers dies. No, we can't do that anymore. Unless he has another creature, yes. I have that. So I think worst case scenario here would be a post-board Chain Whirler killing our Nicol Bolas. Because if he can't handle the Bolas here, alright. Alright, that's also fucked up. That's actually really, really, really annoying. So I think we shock here, kill one of them, and then have drawn up to kill the other one as well. Unlicensed Disintegration was actually pretty strong. I don't know. I'm gonna counter. And now, of course, he's taken the Nicol Bolas, and we don't draw it something off the top here. We're pretty dead. He only has one more creature to exile, though. So, yeah, we're dead. Alright. That did not